Hello world, welcome to Ctrl+Alt+Danominator. My name is Dan, and today, this is the device. Hello, little stylus. Sorry, I don't do a good Charles Martinet impression, but I can say I tried. Alright, so for everybody who wants to just skip to the tutorial, you're more than welcome to. I do put timestamps in all my videos, friendly reminder, but for everyone else who wants to hang out a minute, why don't you just gather around? We're gonna have a little trip down memory lane, a little story time, if you will, because do I even really need to explain myself with this one? I love the Nintendo DS and Nintendo Wii family of systems for as flawed as they are and how, I guess, overly generalizing and friendly they might be to a lot of people. I still think they have a lot of staying power. The DS clamshell form factor is one of my favorites of all time. I guess it explains why I've been keeping an eye on the foldable space and of course the Surface Duo for so long, which we will eventually talk about here. But I just think that this is one of the best things that Nintendo ever made, and the same goes for the DSi, even though it didn't sell especially well, and the entire 3DS family of systems. As a matter of fact, over on the main channel, Danominator, you might notice this guy has shown up a couple of times now. Well, actually, technically, it's its cousin. I have another 3DS XL exactly like this that I sent in to get a capture card installed, so it has a little USB port right there. I don't have it on me at the moment, but the point being, I love this generation of Nintendo, and especially the DS. I just think that this is one of the coolest form factors that was ever created, the clamshell. There's so many ways you can use this thing, and especially with the touchscreen. I have had a stylus on almost everything I've owned ever since I got this thing when I was 10. This system doomed me. I just have a lot of respect for everything Nintendo made during this era, and that's not to say all of it was perfect, but the DS Lite is just such a great device, man. I love this thing, and the new 3DS XL, I feel, is like the next best thing that you could get after that because it can just do so much. This one, of course, being a Lite, still has the GBA slot, which unfortunately they got rid of once the DSi rolled around. So if you have one of these and then maybe like a new 3DS XL, assuming you can even get your hands on one of them these days, you're kind of getting like all of the best worlds of the, in my opinion, best handheld generation of Nintendo. I know we have the Switch now, I know there's a Switch 2, oh boy, see my main channel if you want my opinions on that thing, but I really do feel that we owe so many things on the Switch to the DS. If this had never been made, we wouldn't even have a Switch to talk about these days. But I still have a soft spot for this thing. The Nintendo Wii, I feel, was a perfect extension of how to get people into video games. Because, yeah, this thing was definitely more friendly than, I guess, a standard video game console. Like, all the hardware is right here that you need to start playing, right? It's got the stylus, and the touch screen can also be used with a finger. Like, you don't have to use a stylus if you don't want to. But this is almost even more universal. And the reason for that is, this is basically a universal remote. This is kind of the best way to get people into video games because the thing that most people have held that is closest to a video game controller in their lives, if they never played video games, was a TV remote. And this just feels so natural for folks who never played a video game before. So this thing was essentially the perfect first console for anybody. And one of the reasons I think people hold this generation in such high regard is because of how friendly it was, inviting, welcoming. Everything about the Wii and the DS family make you feel like even if you have never played a video game before, you can find something to enjoy on it. I mean, yeah, the Wii and DS had like apps and stuff, well, especially the DSi and 3DS. This pretty much just had PictoChat. But the Wii was the king of accessibility. There were so many kinds of experiences you could have on it, from Wii Fit to sports to play, and then all of the, well, non-Wii branded games. There was an option for literally everybody, and that's why everybody and their grandma had one of these things in their house. One of the things that I think contributes to this feeling of comfortability, friendliness, inviting, everything about it is the UI. The Wii UI is like one of the best things Nintendo ever made. I mean, think about how many videos you've watched on YouTube personally that have the Me theme or the Wii Shop channel theme playing in the background. Like, everything about the Wii UI has stuck with people in some way. And one of the things that really stuck with people, I think, is the cursor. Just being able to hold this thing up, and instead of being a usual TV remote where you had to press a button to get somewhere, you just point and shoot. That was it. And that is so friendly and easy for people to understand. It is natural to hold up a thing, see something pop up on the screen, no gyro required, it just worked with a sensor bar, and you were good to go. That was it. Game on. And I think it's for that reason that people just continuously love to use the Wii's everything in the stuff they make, from the music to the UI elements to animations. It just represents such a cool, friendly era of Nintendo that the Switch definitely doesn't replicate. I can't stand the Switch UI. It is boring, it is lifeless. Yeah, it's fast, but I can't stand it. So, the reason that I'm making this video at all is because of these two systems, so let's get into it. Ah yeah, the S Pen, Samsung's forgotten little champion. I've been wanting to talk about this thing for a while, but the reason it doesn't come up very often, at least at the moment, is because this phone is actually an S23 Ultra, and it's what I'm filming everything with right now. I am saving up for a Sony camera, like an actual videography camera, and honestly, trying to expedite that a little because I want to have a more dedicated filming setup, and currently the S23 Ultra for me, it does nearly everything. So I really do want to change things up a little bit and eventually find a specific like cage to put a camera on. So that's what Ko-fi donations are going to. But for now, the S23 Ultra does so many good things for me, including filming all my videos, even the main channel stuff. And one of the reasons that I love it so much is because of this pen. I know nobody really cares about the Bluetooth features, and Samsung themselves had said, nobody used the Bluetooth connection, so we killed it off with the S25 to save components and lower costs. Yeah, right, of course they did. I don't believe that for a second, to be honest. I get it, people didn't use the features of this little button that much, but man, this thing is capable. One of my favorite things to do in my earliest filming setup with this phone was to press this button, and that would start and stop my camera recordings. It still does. The thing I'm gonna show you how to do today is make your cursor just a little more fun. But I can't really do that here, so I'm actually gonna switch us over to a screen recorder now, because I can't really, you know, film this video and talk about the phone I'm filming on at the same time. Gosh, I hope I can get that camera soon. I promise I want to make this setup better. But that said, let's get a move on. All right, here we are on my S23 Ultra, and I will be linking the live wallpaper that I use in the description if you'd like to try it out. This is a koi pond, and I like it a lot, but that's besides the point. So I'm gonna take out my S Pen here, and you can see that the air command button has popped up. So right now I just have it set on a very standard pointer, but this is actually part of Good Lock too. So if you'd like to do something else with your stylus and maybe even apply a custom cursor, you can pretty much follow the same instructions. So the first thing I'm going to do is open the Galaxy Store. Yep, believe it or not, this is the only application I have voluntarily downloaded from the Galaxy Store. I've generally used the Google Play Store, and I've never needed anything here from this. But the special thing about Good Lock is that it's Samsung specific. So we're gonna go right here. You can search this up on your own if you need to, but as you can see, I've already installed Good Lock right here, and you can just search it up and it'll pop right up here. But then you can open it once it's installed, and you'll see a whole bunch of options here. Now, I actually use a good amount of these, or have at least like 1 or 2 toggles on almost all of these settings turned on. This has greatly improved the enjoyability of this phone to me. I honestly can't see myself without half of the features that are in here. And if I leave a Samsung to go to another main phone one day, this is the stuff I will miss the most. Now, mind you, some of these features are things that I've kind of like added back in basically using Good Lock that I had previously on something like a Motorola. So I guess you can call this Samsung's advanced labs, if you will. If you've ever been through a Samsung phone or tablet settings, you know that in there they have something called Labs, which basically has advanced features, experimental ideas that you can try out, and they'll probably be added into the settings as general settings later on. But this is essentially like if you had an advanced Labs of even deeper hidden settings. This unlocks so many potential experiments on your phone, basically. And one of the coolest things about it is a lot of these become general settings in later software versions. We're gonna open Pentastic here, but I might as well throw a note out. This is actually a One UI 5.1 phone. I have not updated this past Android 13 yet. Why? Partially because I'm way too comfortable with this software and it's way too stable for me to have a need to upgrade, especially with Samsung's new focus on AI ever since One UI 6. And so I've just been using all of this stuff here, and that's kind of all the upgrades I need, basically. So I'm gonna pop open Pentastic, and already you can see we have a ton of options. This is really neat. So if you've ever used the Air Command menu, this is pretty handy if you wanna have any shortcuts to do, well, basically anything. So here, I've actually just got a screenshot button put right there on the menu, and I was able to draw on it instantly. The Air Command menu is very useful. So you can customize a ton of things about the Air Command menu for your pen. So you can make it like a rotary dial. I actually really like this one, to be honest, because when you pop it open, it sort of hovers over what current setting you're gonna work with. I just really like this kind of stuff. But we're actually gonna ignore most of this for now and focus on the section down here. So if you go here, assuming that you've downloaded my Wii custom cursor, basically, we're gonna pop over to custom. Now, if I go to my gallery, you're gonna see a whole bunch of stuff, including the screenshot we just took, but I'm gonna go up here. I'm just gonna search Wii S Pen because I know it's there. So if I put in that, it's just gonna be right there for us. So if I tap that, it's actually gonna set up the pointer. Now, I've actually made this a little smaller, and the reason that I did that is because I didn't want the edges of the thing to get cropped, so I did make it a very specific way, but I just make it the largest possible size, and I consider this to be a lot more like usable. And then you can mark the hover point if you want to, but all that really does is push the cursor downward and then give you a secondary cursor. So I don't know, I don't really consider that to be very useful for this one specifically. So that's where I'm gonna hit use. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all you really gotta do. So you might be wondering how accurate this cursor actually is. Well, here, if you see I tap anywhere on the screen, it's pretty centralized to where my pen is. Of course, you can't see this right now, but hopefully in the future, I'll be able to show this off a little more with the phone actually on camera. But it is pretty precise. So I basically tried to make it so that wherever the pen touches is basically at the very tip of the finger of the Wii Remote cursor, basically. And yeah, it does a pretty good job. Here to show another example, I have Ibis Paint here, and you can see the cursor is keeping up very nicely and it is pretty centralized. This was actually one of the ways that I tested it out to make sure that it would be pretty precise. And yeah, it's pretty great. You can actually see when I put down the cursor right there, you can see that tiny little dot acting as a secondary cursor to show that I'm tapping on something. So yeah, it does a good job. It's perfectly fine. I don't have any issues with it. You can see that it does its best to keep up there. The most important thing to remember when you're using an S Pen cursor is that it's basically dependent on how close your pen is to the phone. So if I lift it up about, I'd say about a half inch off of the phone, it's not gonna show up anymore. But then when I bring it nearby, it just acts normally again. So here, if I go home one more time, I'll also show you this just for fun. I actually really like playing this game, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete, which is a paid version of what used to be a free-to-play game with a buttload of microtransactions, and I never liked that about the game, so I much prefer this new version. This just feels so natural to me, and this is kind of my general thesis as to why I did this in the first place. I didn't necessarily have a good reason, I just thought it would be fun. So you can see here going through like the menus and such, I don't know, this just feels fun to me. Just being able to move around here with the S Pen. This is actually what I do a lot of the time when I'm playing this game. I'm just going around using the pen to select stuff in the menus, and of course it disappears every time you tap something, but it's only for a split second. So yeah, that is pretty much it. You can set your own cursor in Pentastic as well. So anything that you want, a PNG, or I suppose if you want to put a JPEG in there, but of course it won't be transparent, so just keep that in mind. I made this a PNG and then I added a very small drop shadow to it. You can kind of see it just slightly above the pen. So if you do rotate this, if you feel like you want to rotate the S Pen cursor, just keep it in mind. You might want to put it into something else like Ibis Paint first, because if you rotate it like in your Samsung Gallery or something, it might cut off the drop shadow as you turn it, so it might look a little uneven or unusual. Now, in case you guys are wondering why this is pointed slightly to the left, I am actually left-handed, so this is a lot more natural to me because my pen is also always pointing slightly to the left and I have it coming downwards this way. So it just works out more to me. It just looks more natural. So if you guys want me to make a couple of different angles of this, I can do that, and then I'll change the pinned comment link to a folder instead of just a PNG in Google Drive. So if you guys want that, just let me know. I'll tilt it a few different ways and then I'll make it as consistent as possible, and then you guys will have multiple options. So please let me know in the comments if you would like that. And yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Very short one, but hopefully this gives you an opportunity to mess around with your S Pen a little more, and in future videos I am hoping to talk further about the other advanced features that this pen has, because I still think the S Pen is great. It really sucks that Samsung killed off the Bluetooth capability of it, because you can still do this with a regular S Pen for sure, but you're gonna miss a lot of other extra features that personally I have come very attached to, and so it's going to make it a real hard sell for me to ever get a Samsung Ultra phone again, because I would be missing out on a lot of the features that I've come to love. So yeah, we're going to be talking about this pen in particular quite a lot more in the future, I think. So until then, of course, this is Ctrl+Alt+Danominator signing off. See you later, tech heads.